heard you mention something about the constancy of curiosity and constancy of outrage. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
People are going to think
Mm-hmm.
Bush is the villain, Cheney is the villain.
Yeah.
Well, the villain is us,
Mm.
because it was our inability to sustain outrage that allowed them to do what they did. And we have stopped teaching that you have the right to be outraged.
Right.
And television has done its best to distract us.
Yes.
If there's one clue to how powerful we are
Mm-hmm.
as the sovereign authority in this country,
Yeah.
it's how much time and creativity and money is spent distracting us
Very
from
much
that
so.
authority.
That's right. Now, but this seems to be another one of these old-fashioned concepts that you have the ability to be outraged and to continue to be outraged, but to what end? How does that? Because I think in this country, so many examples have been set of it turns into violence. So
Well,
where does outrage? Where else can outrage go?
A federal judge, a federal prosecutor,
Mm-hmm.
came up to me one day at a museum thing. He said that he told me what he did for a living.
Yeah.
And I said, put some bad people in jail. And he said, I will. I said, no, I mean it. I mean, we need heroes and villains.
Yeah.
We need people
Yeah.
to go to jail for stealing billions of dollars on Wall Street.
Absolutely.
And we need people to be named if they keep their bonuses and other people and bonuses of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
They keep their bonuses when other people are losing their houses.
Yeah.
Let's name them
Right.
at least and bring some shame back.
Right.
Let's shame
Yes.
those people.
There's
And
a lot
let's
to be said
put
for that.
bad people who do those things
Yep.
in jail.
Yeah.
And that includes office holders,
Yeah.
Democrats,
Yep.
and Republicans.
That's right. There should be no selected officials who get to have special care and things like this.
And the President of the United States and the Vice President of the
Mhm.
United States believed in what they called executive sovereignty. And when I asked, what is that?
Mhm.
They said, oh, that means the President is above the law. And I said, not in this country, pal.
Yeah. No.
The President of the United States is a public servant.
Yeah.
He is not more nor less.
That's right.
And
Are
he-
people forgetting that?
Well, this was an illegal war without congressional oversight,
Yeah.
and that alone.
Mhm.
And when he admitted, President Bush,
Mhm.
to breaking the federal wiretap laws,
Yeah.
everyone just ignored it.
I know.
He did what? He broke the law by admitting
It's almost like
federal wiretap.
it was like the sound bite came and went, and they covered it up with some other sound bites, and everyone forgot that other sound bite.
And that's
The problem.
what happened to outrage.
Yeah.
We distracted people
Right.
enough so that they got confused
Yes.
just enough so that there was what was the problem
What-
again? Huh?
What
Talk
was
about
it
the
that happened
dumbing
last
down.
week?
People
Well.
have to demand an answer to certain questions, and that's why having the press be rude and impolite is a necessity, because they're the only ones who really represent us in the government.
And for some reason, that totally stopped. It seemed like it was the opposite. They began pandering to
Well,
whomever.
the moment that CBS Network was owned by a company that owned other companies,
Yeah.
so American Tobacco could call 60 Minutes and say,
Right.
we don't wish to be investigated, that was the end of American journalism.
Yeah.
And people now call it Disney ABC,
Right.
ABC Disney.
Right.
Well, and that would have been laughed at in 1955.
Right. Of course. Of course.
The networks are the networks. News is news. They can't
Entertainment is
have
entertainment, right.
partners. They can't be owned by
Yeah.
special interests.
Yeah. Well, that then becomes a whole nother political activism, I'm sure, for us to really, for citizens to really give their opinions about that.
Citizenship
on
is
it.
not just the act of voting.
No.
Citizenship is daily slogging,
Yep.
daily losing and winning,
Yep.
and constant, and every day you are in there.
Yep.
Some you lose and some you don't.
Yep.
Some you win and some you don't. Some you let your opposition win. If you fight every battle,
Right. You can't possibly
You
go
can't
on.
possibly
Right.
have the energy to go on.
That's right. So you were talking about this experiential train journey that you had mentioned a few minutes ago. Is that something that they're planning on instituting? Because that sounds like a wonderful journey that American families would take, should take, and
Well,
especially in summertime
I
coming.
have been told
Yeah.
by the Constitution Center
Yes.
that they approve of it, but they have yet to write the letter saying it officially. And I've asked that a work group be formed by them
Yes.
to put
Initiate that. Yeah.
the thing together,
Yeah.
and that has not been done.
Okay.
So it's up to the people to write and call
Yeah.
the Constitution Center and say,
And make
we
those
want that
proposals.
journey.
That's right. Another opportunity for activism, and really for education.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what
Absolutely.
a waste the Constitution Center would be if it didn't do anything except applaud itself
Oh,
for
yeah.
having a constitution.
Well, of course, we got to bring people to see it, bring people to know about it, and be aware of
and
it.
make sure that it's held up and effort is made to maintain it.
Yes.
It's got principles involved, and people are out to take those principles away
Yeah.
and put fear in their place, and put the fear of social approbation. And I don't want to raise my head above and get shot at.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
that's not what America is all about.
No, it's not. And that's a very good point. And hopefully, we'll all keep talking to each other and raising awareness. And I guess that's the way it has to be. For now, it's one person at a time speaking from, from their heart with their families, with their school boards, and slowly and surely pushing through each community one by one is probably the best way it's going to be brought to the surface.
You can say, kids hate to say this, but you ask a question and kids hate to say, I don't know. But I don't know is the beginning of learning.
Absolutely.
And learning is the only ability to get to wisdom.
Yes.
So saying I don't know is actually a liberating experience.
Yes.
And learning can be the most exciting part of your day.
Now, why are kids not saying I don't know? What's wrong with that?
Because they think they're going to be made fun of. And they think, in all cultures, in all civilizations, kids, or most people, don't want to admit they don't know something, which of course means that they have to pretend to know everything.
Well, then they're right there. They stop the furthering of learning and curiosity and asking questions, and somehow that has become unpopular.
And somehow that's also the norm.
Yeah. And that this is the time that we want to be opening up all these questions for everyone to ask. Thank you. I think you do. Thank you, Richard. Clearly, there are some major changes that need to be made in order for us to not lose our history. Yes, we need to stay competitive with the rest of the world, but we need to maintain the spirit in which America was built. The Dreyfuss Initiative is a way for us to bring this back to the awareness of all the kids and parents. If you have kids in school, talk to your principals, talk to your superintendents. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as I have today. Thank you very much for joining us. From all of us at Area Code 508, have a great day.